1965 Philadelphia Eagles, a team of big offense and big excitement, amassed 5,012 yards, the best in the East. This display of power set off a tremor, which promises to grow to earthquake proportions and cast them over the edge of greatness. Each time the Birds took the ball, a guarantee was offered. The guarantee of total football. Fundamental, bone-jarring, electrifying football. The '65 debut against the St. Louis Cardinals found Franklin Field with 58,000 in attendance. The people were there to see the season keynoted by rookie Al Nelson, who flashes his talents for 70 yards. The good return allowed fullback Earl Grow to power into the big red line for a six-pointer. The Cardinal offense is checked as Charlie Johnson falls prey to Maxie Bond's big blitz. Coach Joe Kuharich likes this style, a style familiar to him from his own playing days. America's pageant and a time for vital Eagle realignments at halftime. And the second half opener will be brought back by Irv Cross and established in ranked threat on all returns. Irv is a man who can ensure good field position each and every time he touches the ball. Timmy Brown has just the lever with which to boost the score. A loping gait carries him around left end for a touchdown. The score, the Eagles 27, the Cardinals 20. Mike Morgan and company continue the fine containment of the Cardinal attack. Quarterback Norm Snead's perfect call and perfect execution go for 38 yards and a touchdown for Ray Poe. The final score stands 34 for the Eagles, 27 for St. Louis. The Herald Cards have felt the first waves of insurgency. The Eagles show remarkable versatility. Fullback Earl Grow exemplifies this by passing for a six-pointer to Ray Poe. Now it's Earl's turn to be on the receiving end this time. A fine pattern complements the good call. Touchdown. But it's on the ground a fullback's presence is felt. Grow switches the ball to the outside and proceeds to emphasize the rewards of fundamental football and a fast fullback. It's the fullback's traditional lot to contend with goal line yardage. The giant defense finds Earl equal to the task. Timmy Brown, the other half of the Eagles' set-back tandem, is an Armageddon to all defenses. Each time Timmy, the Eagles' premier halfback, takes the football, 5.4 yards are assured, the best average per carry in the National Football League. Against the Steelers, Timmy picks up a solid 11. Seemingly stopped, his patented gyroscopic balance frees him for an additional 15 yards. The solid wall of the Cardinal rush is distilled into 42 scampering yards and a touchdown by the mercurial Mr. Timmy Brown. Timmy is a match racer at heart. Here he factors his speed into 54 touchdown yards against the Eastern champions, the Cleveland Browns. That sort of run can only occur behind excellent blocking. Bob Brown is the bastion of a premier line which provides that excellence. Bob Brown and his 280 pounds of instant devastation drive Redskin John Rieger out of the corridor for a timely Timmy Brown score. Finesse is a vital part of NFL line play, too. Big Bob shepherds John Paylock past Norm Snead. Snead takes the time to advantage, allowing Glenn Glass an extracurricular outlet for his grit aggression. The surprisingly kinetic Brown takes a good angle and buckles the entire left side of the Detroit Lions line. Tom Wudashek welcomes the opportunity as well as the extra yardage. Against Cleveland, Ed Blaine explodes from left guard, where he's been a regular for 3 years. He storms into Bernie Parrish to provide the entree to a fine gain by Tim Brown. Ed Blaine and Jim Ringo star in springing the first set in a timed trap. Jimmy Skaggs tosses the second snare into the Cardinal pursuit, and Lane Howell at 270 pounds delivers the final judgment on the inside traffic, and the migratory Timmy Brown scuds downfield, underlining the blocking mastery of the Eagles. A neat toss to Earl Grove precipitates a groundswell in the form of Blaine and master technician Jim Ringo. Blaine coolly directs the onslaught, which yields big yardage for Earl Grove. The Eagle offense has its work laid out in Baltimore. That is, to match an almost incomparable attack mounted by the great Johnny Unitas and directed by Coach Don Shula. Dulaney and Eddie Kayad initiates his own green wave by inundating Unitas early in the first quarter. The pressure proves its own reward as Nate Ramsey pulls in a pass thrown by Unitas, deflected by Mike Morgan. The net result after this Ramsey ramble will be Eagle possession on the Colts 17-yard line. Quarterback Snead maintains the momentum with a toss to Pete Retzlaff, who scores almost without effort. The Colts back on offense go deep. A probe which suspends the services of All-Pro Jimmy Orr at the hands of rookie Al Nelson. Don Hulse continues the fine defensive game by collaring fabled number 19 and throwing him for a 3-yard loss. The Eagles take over. Norm Snead and his resolute band begin the march. 15 yards first to Glenn Glass, the flanker. Timmy Brown, number 22, gets 13 yards on the swing. He fumbles, but Dane Fate seems to be endorsing the bird. Ollie Matson sweeps left in for the score and 3 yards. His career total in the National Football League, 6.8 miles. In the third quarter and the Eagles in possession, Pogue makes a great straining catch down the middle for 44 yards. Second and goal to go on the Colts 7. The call, Ray Pogue again. Touchdown, Eagles 24, Baltimore 20. In the fourth period, 3 perfectly executed maneuvers occur. Pass, pattern, and defense. Bobby Boyd wins this time in the roll from Ray Pogue. Revitalized, Unitas to Lenny Moore, the old pro. He's loose. Cross makes him fumble, but Nate Ramsey can't quite get there in time for a recovery. Jimmy Orr avenges himself by finally slipping by Al Nelson for the final score. The game is lost, but a growing pride and assurance is won in Baltimore. Quarterback Norman Snead raised his 64 completion rate to 52%. Each year with his receivers, he augurs a greater jump in efficiency. Snead sets fullback Earl Groh in the double wing, then hits him on the sidelines, and Groh drives downfield with abandon. Snead has a variety of receivers. Glenn Glass, converted from defense, plies his new trade on two of his erstwhile kind. Johnny Sample first, then Jimmy Steffen. Glass gained 40 yards on this play. Diminutive Ronnie Goodwin breaks from the flanker spot to the right corner to take 6 points from the Detroit Lions. Goodwin can also exhibit the drive and power equal to any of the big receivers. The Cardinals will testify to that. Ray Pogue, the sprinter out of Texas, uses his 6'5" height to combat good coverage and scores against Washington. Setback Timmy Brown caught 50 of the Eagles' 223 completions, ranking him among the top receivers in the National Football League. In football, little hurts don't count if you advance. The blood on Timmy's pants and the 23 yards gained testify to this. Quarterback King Hill falls back behind good pass protection. Timmy Brown is floating downfield with deceptive ease as the pass comes forward. Jimmy Patton's futile tackle triggers a momentary storm which sends him sprawling and Brown across the Giant goal line. Timmy is equally at home with each of the Eagle quarterbacks. Here, Jack Concannon scrambles to make the Steelers painfully aware of all this. Jack Concannon has many facets. For 40 yards, he gives credit to the argument that he should be a runner. He's a fine runner. This time, Smiling Jack sets up like an old pro to connect with Ray Pogue for a TD. Pete Retzloff, a lean, gaunt perfectionist, in his 10th year recorded his finest statistics. Isolated but not alone, the Baron pulls in one of his 66 receptions and roars downfield, teaching an Aaron Erich Barnes a lesson in chivalry. Against Cleveland, Pete courses through a meticulous pattern which culminates in a good evasive move and a touchdown for Philadelphia. These moves and years of experience allow big number 44 to spring himself and outrace a faster Redskin, Paul Krause, for 78 yards, his longest gain of the season. In some cases, finesse is less than important. Willie Williams of the Giants finds Retzloff both strong and well-muscled. But some yards come harder than others, and it takes sure hands to come up with these very hard yards. Above all, Pete Retzloff is a competitor. Desire is the key word to this effort against the Cleveland Browns on a corner pattern. The effort is rewarded. But the best offenses cannot score without the ball. And a hard-hitting, always pursuing Eagle combination of youth and savvy provided plenty of opportunity throughout the season. These opportunities will increase. The Eagles draft for 1966 is solid. The first and second choices, signed and sealed, add up to 500 pounds of defensive end. A rhinoceros charge causes Craig Morton an acute case of clumsiness. George Tarasovic, the old pro, knows the ball's not dead until the whistle has been blown. With a certain majesty, the Bayou Bengal and his high-stepping escort go forward to the Dallas goal line. Durable Dave Lloyd intercepts a Detroit pass, shucks the elephantine Ron Kramer, and rumbles into Lion territory. Dave Lloyd, a fiery 240-pound competitor and hub of the Eagle defense, has the knack. The right place at the right time. When Buddy Dial, a wily Dallas flanker, runs afoul of Ramsey, the result is a wayward pigskin in the clutches of Dave Lloyd. Against the Giants, the lateral movement of Lloyd at middle linebacker comes to the fore. The flare pattern is not the answer against Dave Lloyd. Maxie Bond flashes his all-pro credentials to Redskin halfback Danny Lewis. Don Holtz, number 83, with paramount guile and grace, slips off the last Brown blocker to drop the Cleveland quarterback. Holtz changed to defensive end in 1965. The switch worked well. Don's good reactions allowed John Myers to pick off the deflection. When Washington comes to Philadelphia, Texan Myers shows a natural animosity toward Redskins. Here he drifts back to gather in another timely interception. Against the Colts, Big John interprets the term tackle with gusto. Lorick will be checking the pieces for quite a while. This time the Cowboys fall victim to an indomitable rush by Floyd Peters. Jerry Rome, the quarterback, was the victim. Eddie Kayant breaks the surface of the Redskin line to drop ex-teammate Sonny Jurgensen for expensive yardage. The little man in the Big Eagle blitz, Joe Scarpati. Joe wraps up Jim Danowski in a classic example of the Eagles' safety blitz. Handsome Joe Scarpati, a second-year man, signed as a free agent, quickly won himself a place of prominence. Scarpati leads the Eagles by a wide margin in unassisted tackles. Watch him crack Tucker Frederickson of the New York Giants. Amos Marsh takes the measure of how much desire can weigh as Scarpati knifes him to the ground. Jimmy Brown also finds that a lot of heart is hard to deny. Al Nelson's down, but not out. A scrambling, crawling effort stops the Cleveland superstar. Nelson is as nifty as he is gutsy. Here he intercepts a Cardinal aerial and displays old collegiate running form. He circles back to get some depth and then starts on a 22-yard sprint. Nate Ramsey, another college runner, was among the league's leaders in pass interceptions. Ramsey flashes his old running form for 26 yards against the Cardinals. A sprinter in his own right, Irv Cross intercepts a pass intended for Olympian Bob Hayes. Hayes takes exception to the fact and lets Irv know it. Irv Cross can take it, but more important in pro football, he can dish it out. Pat Studstill of the Lions will be slow in getting up. The Eagles embark at Philadelphia's International Airport for their cross-state flight to Pittsburgh. As 13 out of 14 National Football League teams know, a gracious hospitality will be shown them in the friendly skies of United. With With veterans' equanimity, Sam Baker and Pete Retzloff enjoy a solid meal upstairs. Rookies prefer to snack lightly, but all will be a rested, relaxed Eagles team debarking in Pittsburgh. Pitt Stadium, the scene of the final road game and what should be a great defensive struggle. Nate Ramsey starts the afternoon off with an interception. The first of 9 interceptions on an afternoon when the Eagles' interpretation of total football is defense. The offense is quick to capitalize. Ollie Matson to the left side for 14 yards behind good blocking. Quarterback Snead nails down the opportunity with a neat toss to Retzloff at the flag for a 13-yard touchdown. The score, Philadelphia 13, the Steelers nothing. Pittsburgh's back on offense and immediately run afoul of rookie Jim Nettles. First the interception, and then he's off to the races. Ollie Matson goes off the right side on a blistering trap play for 8 yards and a touchdown. Not to be outdone, the defense takes on the job of point making. With bulldog tenacity, Maxie Vaughn intercepts and tries to get his first touchdown in the National Football League. Linebacker Vaughn makes it. It's Jim Nettles again. Great timing and a taste for points seem irresistible, and the plucky rookie goes 56 untouched yards. Touchdown, Eagles. It's Steelers' first and goal in the fourth quarter, but Nettles moves up fast and plugs the hole. Second chances are often expensive. Rookie linebacker and judo expert Harold Wells presents the tab with a Kodo Kan flourish. And the Eagles come up with a football. Late in the fourth quarter, a desperation effort sends the ball into a magnetized Eagle defense once more. George Tarasovic, an ex-Steeler, is the recipient and with a style and grace goes 40 yards. Bobby Richards makes a good block at the 20. And Tarasovic rambles on. The score, the Eagles 40, the Steelers 13. The offense, determined to gild the defensive lily, strikes on its own by sending a screen pass to Tom Woodashik on the left side. Woodashik crosses to the right side against the grain and steams downfield. A 60-yard pickup for Tom Woodashik. Izzy Lang finishes the afternoon's activities by turning the right side for 8 yards and a final score of 47 for Philadelphia. Pittsburgh got 13. The 1965 Eagles concluded a season of promise. The offense was the best in the East, the second best in the National Football League. The defense developed cohesion and rose to great heights on certain afternoons. The draft should help both. In 1965, the Eagles found themselves on the edge of greatness. Jerry Wallman's goal for the Eagles in 1966 will be the year of greatness.